Divinity Original Sin 2. We already reviewed the first game of this series, but is the second one actually worth it to play and buy right now? So, let's discuss that. And you know what, as always, I'm not gonna be wasting your time and I'm going to be giving you the answer right away without ever even getting into details why. Because yeah, you'll probably know why, but you just want to know the answer, right? So the answer is this. Yes, Divinity Original Sin 2 is absolutely worth it to buy because this is one of the best isometric RPGs that you can buy right now, at least from the modern ones. And with an extensive world and a freedom in this world that you are given, this game is probably one of the best games, period. But there's a big asterisk there, because this game will not be for everyone, especially and mainly for the younger audiences. So let me explain why. Let's first explain what Divinity Original Sin 2 actually is. As I said before, this is the second game in the Divinity Original Sin series, and it takes you to the world of Rivellon. And genre-wise, it's technically not an isometric RPG because, yeah, you are playing in a full 3D world, but yeah, because you are mainly in an isometric perspective, yeah, this is an isometric RPG. You're looking at the world in a top-down view, and your goal is basically to live in this world. Yes, again, no spoilers because, yeah, the game has amazing story that you need to experience yourself, even from the very beginning. But how it plays? So you can actually divide the game into two parts. First is the exploration part, where you explore around the world, you see the world around you, you engage in conversations, you take and complete quests, you manage your inventory, you trade, etc, etc. And the second part is the combat. And in this case, game has a turn-based combat, just like the first game. But the exploration part is in real time. You are walking around and exploring and seeing the world around you, but as soon as you will get into combat, the game pauses and transforms into the turn-based combat. And the game's true appeal is in its freedom and the way how you can actually play this, because unlike the majority of the games that tells you that you can play the game however you want, here you can actually play a game however you want. Even in the beginning, game has a few pre-made characters for you. I don't remember exactly, I think there are 5 or 6 of them. And you even have an ability to create your own character. And when I say you can play the game however you want, you can play a game however you want, because there are literally no restrictions on how you can actually complete different tasks in the game. Want to play guns blazing and fight everyone? You can. Want to solve the situations with the simple diplomacy and, well, dialogues? You can. Want to sneak around and complete the game while not being seen by anyone? Well, you can. You can play the game with a party of up to 4 different individuals, and all of them are literally the main character in the game, because you can play and main with each and every one of them. Even though you have one main character, you can play with every character in your party. And this plays a huge role because every single character has their own background and will be treated differently by the people around you. So for example, if you're going to play with a human character, you're going to be, well, treated more or less well by humans and not that well by elves. But if you're gonna play as a lizard, for example with a red prince, you're gonna be treated badly by practically everyone, because people don't trust lizards. And the same goes with an undead, because talking with a pile of bones, well, is not as trustworthy as you might think, right? And this freedom extends into the combat as well, because just like the first game, combat is pretty versatile, because you are not just using your abilities, but you also use the environment around you. For example, if you'll see let's say a poison barrel, you can actually break this barrel, releasing the poison and potentially harming your enemy or even your allies. And if you're gonna throw a fireball on it, this poison barrel will explode and will create fire. And if you're gonna rain on this fire, you will create a cloud of steam. And if your rain will create puddles, if you're gonna hit it with electricity, it will amplify the effect of electricity hitting everyone in this puddle. Things like that makes the combat pretty interesting and pretty fun. Story-wise and dialogue-wise, game is as deep as you can even imagine, because this is as close to playing a book as you can get. There are tons and tons of different quests and dialogues. Thankfully, all of them are voice acted, and there are tons of different ways to complete the quests. And there are no do-overs in this game. If you're gonna say something bad that will offend the people that you're talking to, well, there are no do-overs. This person will be offended and they might not even talk to you anymore. And if the talking to this individual and persuading this individual is the way to complete the quest, well, you might need to find another way to complete the quest. Thankfully, there are other ways to do so as well. Plus, each and every character that you're gonna have in your party will have their own unique dialogue options, which enhances the game even more, adding to, well, its massive replayability. And even though replaying this game will not be easy because the game is huge and massive, well, you might want to do it because, yeah, game has a lot of replayability value. But it all sounds like sunshine and rainbows, but because, remember what I said in the beginning? Yes, this game might not be for everyone because of one very simple reason. And this reason is the exact same reason why the game is great as well. And that is the complexity. Game is very complex. Not difficult, but complex. And there is big difference between difficulty and complexity. Let's say the Souls-like games, they're difficult. They're not complex. They're difficult because you need to learn patterns, you need to be prepared for battle and things like that. But here it's complex because you have a lot of mechanics playing all together. Like in the same with the combat, you have to be aware not just what your characters can do, but where they stand, what turn they will take in a battle, and even all the elemental factors in the surroundings. So you need to be very aware of all of this. And in the regular exploration, you need to be aware of all the things that you are saying, because yeah, if you're gonna just press the button just to get to the dialogue over with, yeah, you might not be able to complete the quest, at least favorably. So this complexity makes the game, well, probably not appealing for everyone, especially for the people who grew up on the Fortnite, and even for the people who grew up on Skyrim, I would say. Because the amount of dialogue, the amount of speeches, the amount of combats I need to go through is insane. This is probably the most written game of them all, because yeah, the amount of writing in this game is, well, again, insane. And the combat itself is not the icing on the cake as well, because the combat can actually drag. Each and every battle can continue for few minutes, not just not a few seconds. You might be in a combat for 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes depending on what you're fighting, and you might need to go through a lot of different combats. Thankfully, there are not overwhelming amount of battles, and thankfully it's well, more or less on a very tame level. But yeah, if you like a lot of combat, yeah, it will drag and continue for a pretty long time, especially on higher difficulties. And complexity doesn't end even there, because yeah, the first thing that you will be doing in this game is pretty complex. And the first thing is even choosing your own character, because the amount of things, the amount of characteristics that defines your character, what they can do and what they are, is insane. That's why you might just go with a pre-built character in the very beginning, and thankfully they are very, very great as well. But if you want to play with your own character, yeah, good luck doing this the first time, because it's not, I would say, overwhelmingly difficult, but it is. But yeah, game is good, game is great, and things like that. But yeah, how much will it cost you? Game is available on Steam for the base price of $44.99 for tier 1 countries and $24.99 for tier 2 countries, and can go as low as $15.74 for tier 1 countries and $8.74 for tier 2 countries. So is this game worth it for this price? Are you kidding me? Yes. If you're gonna find this game on a discounted prices, and I would suggest you to wait for a discount, because game is not very new and it will be on a discount very, very, very often. If you're gonna find this game on a discount, go and get it, because even if you have never played this game, it's absolutely worth it to try. It's worth it just to test whether you like the games like that or not, just like the first game. And if you're gonna endure through first maybe 1 or 2 hours and you're gonna enjoy it, oh boy, you are in for a treat, because the story in this game, the side quests, the characters in this game are insanely good, and you're gonna enjoy them through it. Overall, despite its complexity, despite how dragged the game can be, especially during the combat, and despite an overwhelming amount of dialogue, and yeah, probably I never thought that this would be a downside for anyone, but I know that this is a downside for some. Game is probably one of the best isometric RPGs, well, probably even ever, at least of the past decade. If you want to role play in a fantasy world and want to enjoy every second of it, well, this is it. Yep, go and test this game and get it, because yeah, this is probably one of the few games that needs to be in your Steam library. And well, another amazing thing is that game is actually available on an iPad as well, and it's the same full time, and it's the same version as on a PC, and you can even cross save between them. How great is that? This is just probably one of the very few games. This is probably one of the very few AAA games that is actually available on a tablet, which is insane feat in its own way. Well, this will be it for today. Thanks for being here with me. Like the video if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in next one. See ya.